Hang on. You got the intro music? You got the 30-second intro?
No, I don't have that.
Okay.
Next time. Scott, can you hum it?
Doon, 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 doon. Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. All right.
All right, we're on. Looks like we're live to me.
Hey, we're live, everybody. Welcome to the show. We're off to a great start.
Hello.
Welcome to the Hit the Pick live show. We're going to be doing an NFL and college football playoff edition this week. Allegedly, I'm going to be joined by all 5 founders, or joined by.
And here they are.
And here they are. Let's see. There they are. They're sliding in. Everybody's here. Holy mackerel. Braving wildfires, Philadelphia traffic, and unforeseen commitments with Mr. Delano. So let me introduce everybody. First of all, my name is Scott Steen. They call me the Steamroller. You might know me from my other time over at the other place, which shall not be mentioned. And I am joined by 4 of the coolest guys around on the planet. Let's start on your left, my radio dial, my right on the radio dial as you look at it. It's Mr. Loud Esmond. What's up, buddy? How are you?
Doing well. Looking forward to a really big, think about a bigger football weekend. Thursday, Friday, college playoffs. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, NFL playoffs. Wow.
It really doesn't get any better than this. This has always been one of my favorite weekends of the entire season, and then to throw college playoffs in there as well. Yeah, I'm pretty psyched. Tom Macrina, you might know him as Rye Cape if you hang out on our Discord channel, which everybody should do. And by the way, let's just start off with the plug. Make sure you check out hitthepick.com. Hit the Pick. HIT is an acronym for honesty, integrity, and transparency. Is what we are going to do every transaction with in everything we do on this website. We are going to be completely different from any other tout site or any other handicapper site you've seen. So please stop over, check us out. You don't have to buy picks, but when you get there, you're going to get $100 free. So if you want to check us out, that's enough for 4 single game picks, some other packages, whatever you want to spend it on. It's all yours. Our gift to you. There's going to be lots of free content there, videos as well. So make sure you get over there, check out the site, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on socials, all that stuff the kids are supposed to say. All right, Tom, I know you just came out of Philadelphia traffic. You made it. You spent, 2 hours in traffic? It's nice to have you here, my friend.
2 hours. It's nice to be here as well. Yeah, sometimes that Philadelphia traffic's pretty bad. I actually went to the Flyers game yesterday. No problem with traffic. I come home from work today and whew,
Of course.
I'm ready to talk football there.
In the bottom left corner, or the Charlie Weaver spot, if you're a fan of the old Hollywood squares, it is a Sniper Wes. Wes, you probably had the worst journey of anybody as you're out there mere miles from the California wildfires that are engulfing the Pacific Palisades and everything else in its path. So it's good to have you. We didn't know if you were going to have internet or electricity or your life or anything, so it's good to have you. Okay, good chat.
Yeah, crossing my fingers. It's a terrible time. Yeah, it's really a terrible time. We deal with this pretty much, and Loud can attest to this because he lived out here for a long time. But we get these Santa Ana winds, and it's just terrible. It's happened up in my county. I'm up in Ventura County, which is just north of LA County, and thankfully right now I'm okay. But a lot of people are misplaced, and it's really a terrible thing. But regarding football, I do have something interesting. Nothing is truer in life than death, taxes, and the Houston Texans opening up the playoff weekend on the Saturday matinee. I think it's happened every time the Texans make the playoffs. I counted. I went back. I was watching a show. They went back and counted. It's like the last 12 times the Texans have made the playoffs as a wild card, because it's always as a wild card. They are always the first game. It's unbelievable.
And this year they weren't even a wild card, still the first game. So suck it, Houston.
So, and speaking of suck, whoever does the scheduling does not like the Texans.
Speaking of suck it, Houston, we're going to have we're the last but not least on our list is Mr. David Delano. He is a Ohio transplant, now making his home in Houston. He hasn't caught Texans fever yet. He's still a diehard Browns fan. Double D, what's up, baby?
Well, it's the Browns don't really clash with them too much instead of last year when I actually went up there and had to do the walk of shame out of that stadium for that early game. But looking forward to talking about these games here, talking about that Chargers Texans game. Won't be going to it this year, but yeah, just looking forward to a great week of football and hopefully get left alone long enough to be able to enjoy these games.
Very good. Now, Dave, I know you've got to cut out pretty quick. So, do you want to do one of your games? You want to do the Commanders game, or you want to do it, or you just want to ride along?
Yeah, we could go ahead and do that.
Let's get that out of the way. We're going to go in order for the rest of them, but since Dave has a prior commitment,
Hang on. I thought Dave was doing the MASL Sidekicks Outlaws game that was postponed from Thursday.
Death, taxes, and Loud putting in an MASL plug every video.
Well,
That's the
all
thing.
of those, some bonus coverage for everybody.
Getting it out of the way.
Lock of the century is definitely on the Outlaws. So
there you go.
Put your whole bankroll on the Outlaws and then use the rest of that for the football weekend.
Very good. Boy, that is an unusual strategy. All right, it's the Washington.
Joking, of course, no loss.
it's the Washington Commanders headed down to Tampa Bay to take on the Tampa Bay Bucks. Bucks. This is all according to FanDuel as of right now, 5 p.m. Eastern's. 5 p.m. Central Time, 6 p.m. Eastern. Buccaneers -3. Total net game 50.5. Mr. Delano, what do you got?
Yeah, and this one I like the over in this game. These teams played earlier in this season. This was a 37-20 game, and neither team, I believe it was scoreless after the first quarter, and they still got up to 57 points. Buccaneers, I mean, Baker Mayfield, he's going to sling it. Bucky Irving is running the ball great, but this Tampa Bay defense does scare me right now. It's going to be uncharted waters for the Commanders. I know it's a high total, especially in the playoffs, but these are two teams that they're going to want to win with offense. Even if one team gets up big, it's going to speed things up. I don't think that this total's high enough. I think that we're going to get into at least the mid-50s in this one. So I like the over in this one a lot.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, they played each other, first game of the season, and Tampa Bay ended up winning 37-20. It was 6-0 after the first quarter, by the way, Tampa Bay. And that was really the first game that everybody, and of course it was the first game, but everybody kind of saw Jaden Daniels. He threw for 184 yards, not a great day, 17-24, but no picks, averaged 7.7 yards per attempt, and 88 yards on the ground, 5.5 yards per carry. So everybody went, you know what? This kid may be something special. And indeed he was. So we're going to see points, more points. Anybody want to chime in? Anybody disagree with Mr. Delano?
Now, I agree with the over.
You got the over, Tommy? Loud, what do you got?
My father gave me some great advice, and it was, son, you're going to do well by not saying anything.
Well, it's kind of the wrong format for that, my friend. All right.
I like the Commanders here. I think they're going to be an active dog and they're going to push the pace. So I do agree with the over too. I'm more on the Commanders. I think they're going to hang tough here, to be honest with you. I really like Jaden Daniels, probably going to be rookie of the year. But I agree with the over too, because I think the Commanders are going to do well. The Buccaneers are going to have to keep up, and it probably pushes the total over.
I do worry about that. I do worry about that Commanders defense. I really do. That's not a great unit, and they have definitely shown an ability to kind of let down in some bad spots. Tom, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I think that defense for Tampa Bay is going to get to Jaden Daniels as well. We might see some short fields off of turnovers, things like that. I also like the over. I lean to Tampa Bay to cover this stuff.
Okay.
I think the experience matters here.
Yeah, that's good. And they've definitely been there before, done that. Todd Bowles are. So, yeah, that is just a side question before we move on to the next game. Is Baker Mayfield the real deal? Loud, I'll let you go first. Yes or no?
I have been winning on Tampa Bay all season long, and I took them to win the division and doubled down when their odds went back up when they looked down in the middle of the season. And that's the ticket that I cashed on Tampa Bay. I'll tell you what, the guy is a competitor. I mean, he just competes his you-know-what off, and he does nothing but piss people off on his own team and win. So I don't know what he do with that. But
I want to see more of those. I want to see more of those commercials where Baker Mayfield was lived at the stadium. I want to know who was taking care of the pirate ship, him or his wife.
Yes, there you go.
Tell me, what do you think, Baker Mayfield?
I think he's a winner. I don't think he's a champion guy. Okay. He does a lot of things well. He has a great arm, but I don't see him winning a championship or even getting to a Super Bowl anytime soon.
Wes, you on the Baker bandwagon?
I am, but I will say we could probably also ask the same question of Sam Darnold, right? Is Sam Darnold the real deal? And then you have to think both Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold were both on the Carolina Panthers, and they, let them go. So that's
The funniest picture in the world with those two standing next to each other.
Yeah.
They came out the same draft, or Baker may come out a year before?
Mayfield was a year before.
Okay. All right. And finally, David, Baker Mayfield, yay, nay?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's not the best quarterback in the NFL, but he's in the top 10. You could get it done with him. I think it just depends what else you have around him. It was some time ago, but the Bucs, they won a Super Bowl with Brad Johnson before. So if you get the right pieces around him, of course you can. And you could put the question on half the quarterbacks right now in the playoffs if they're the real deal or not. You're not a champion until you are, right? And I think he can be in the right situation. But yeah, I'd rather have Baker than Deshaun Watson right now. So
Well,
there's a bold statement.
thank God the Raiders have Aiden O'Connell.
Yeah. Well, at least he can stay out of the massage parlors. All right, there we go. So let's we're gonna do it in order now, David. If we lose you here in a couple minutes, we appreciate you stopping by. And then, by the way, this is the 5 of us. This is the guys that all founded this. We did it on our own dime. We don't have any big daddy investors. We have no other staff. You call customer service. Whoever calls you back is going to be one of us 5. I promise you that. We do not have a staff. You're looking at the staff here. So we are definitely excited to get this rolling. All right. So we got the Orange Bowl Thursday night, 7:30 p.m. Eastern time, Notre Dame, Penn State. Penn State is a 1.5 point doggy in this one. And the total is 45.5. So this is basically 2 teams who have disappointed people late in the season for years on end. One of them is going to win and go to the championship game. Notre Dame is coming off a pretty bad performance against Georgia. They gained only 4 yards per play against that good Georgia defense. That's nearly 2.5 yards fewer than their season average, and is by far the worst mark they put up this season. They scored only 1 offensive touchdown. They got a kickoff return and 3 field goals, and their defense was able to get it done there against the backup quarterback for Georgia. If I'm a Notre Dame fan, I'm worried about Jeremiah Love. He suffered another knee injury against Georgia. They had some film on him this week as he had a leg brace in practice. He didn't look great. Marcus Freeman, the head coach, says he's good to go. Good to go, baby. I'm not so sure. I just don't know if he's going to bust another 98-yarder. I'm not sure that knee is good to go, or certainly 100%. And even if he's healthy, this is a really good Penn State rush defense, 4th in expected points allowed on the rush, and is coming off a game where it gave up how many? 3.47 yards to Ashton Genty, the Heisman Trophy winner, the Heisman Trophy runner-up, the one that thought he should have won the Heisman Trophy. He ran 30 times for 104 yards. That is flat shutting him down. So even if Love's good to go, I have confidence in this Nittany Lions defense. Their running game was on point. Allen and Singleton averaged 7.6 yards per carry, and I think they've got the better quarterback. If you look at the stats side by side, you cannot make a case for Riley or Leonard being a better quarterback than Drew Aller. I've got the Penn State Nittany Lions plus the 1.5 right here. Lou?
So, Loud Esmond here, and I am a Notre Dame fan, and I don't bet my fandom, so I don't have a side bet in this game, but I love the under. The total has come down a little bit from 47 to 45, 45.5. Both of these teams are going to want to run the ball. Notre Dame, that's about all they can do. They don't have a dynamic passing game. And yes, Penn State has the better passing quarterback and better receivers, but Notre Dame has one of the best secondaries in NCAA football. They have several guys who are going to be NFL cornerbacks and safeties in that backfield. So it's not going to be an easy task for Drew Allard to, tear up the secondary of Notre Dame. So barring a couple of long pass plays that come out of nowhere, or a touchdown run back, or a blocked field goal run back for a TD, or some late scoring that happens, I really like this game under 45. I could see a 21-17, 21-14, even as low as maybe 20-14 or something like that. I think both these teams are going to want to run the rock. They both play very good defense, and the possibility that Penn State is going to tear up Notre Dame's secondary, I think, is very low.
Okay. All right, very good. Mr. Ryke.
Yeah. So number one, I questioned if Drew Alar is the better quarterback in this game here, but I'm with Lou. I like the under here. Both defenses are going to be king. I think the team that wins is a team that's able to pass the ball here. But I think it's going to be both teams running. That's what they like to do on offense. Both teams are going to be strong defensively. I like the under.
Let me throw some numbers at you. Drew Aller, quarterback rating 157.2, 24 passes for touchdowns, 7 picks for 3,192 yards, 8.6 yards per attempt. Riley Leonard, 137.4 is his rating, 18 touchdown passes, 6 interceptions, 2,383 yards total, 6.8 yards per attempt. You can't make that case. Sorry, buddy. Mr. Sniper.
Yeah, I'm on the under too. I mean, for all the reasons already stated, but Penn State, they only allowed 288 yards per game, which is good for number 4 in the country. They are also 6-9 to the under on the year, so they play to the under in general. I think the defense will show up. I'm on the under too.
Delano, you got anything different?
Oh, remember that. I'm gonna go with I'm gonna be the lone wolf on this one, man, and I'm actually gonna go with the over. My initial reaction was low scoring game, but I think that a lot of these numbers are really tight, and this opened up at 47. Now it's 45. There's even a couple 44 and a halves. I'm going to go with the over in this one. As Notre Dame's found a way, they've scored at least 23 points in every game except for one. 13 out of 14 games. That was that Northern Illinois game. Penn State's found their way to score at least 27 points in 13 out of 15. Looking at what they did against Oregon, and Penn State's been putting up some points, right? I know that their defense has been great, but even against Georgia's defense, which is a better defense than Penn State by a little bit, in my opinion, Notre Dame forced a turnover, found a way to get that touchdown, kickoff return. Riley Leonard, I've had my doubts about him, but the guy's finding ways to win, regardless what the quarterback rating is. And the way that he can run, it's going to be a different type of offense that Penn State saw. I know they played Ohio State earlier in the season, but without going on too long, I think that we're going to see some points. We got both of these quarterbacks combined, 79 games of experience. I don't know if it sails over the total, but I do think that we're going to get over maybe a 27-21 type game. I think that we're going to get over the total in this one.
Gotta watch out for overtime too. Overtime will definitely help the over.
We've
seen that in a lot of these playoff games.
Very Loud. You need to tell Mr. Producer we need a lone wolf graphic. Somebody that's
we do actually. You can go with the combined 120 to 130 years experience of the 4 of us, or since David Delano hasn't even reached 25 yet, about his 3 or 4 years. Just saying.
Oh, man. Shots fired. All right, gentlemen. Very good. Let's move on to the other college semi. This is going to be the Ohio State University against the Burnt Orange of Texas. My God, I hate both of these teams so much. Just a personal aside. Ohio State, 5.5-point favorites. Texas is they're going to be kind of a home game. It's going to be at Jerry World in the Cotton Bowl. 53.5 is the number. Take it away, Loud, Esmond.
So Texas, man, they have not been great down the stretch. I had them as one of my main picks last week. I'm like, oh, they're going to wipe the floor with Arizona State, the Sun Devils. They come out, they put up quick points, and just like every other freaking game they've played, second, third quarter, where are they? Where's the offense? It just disappears. It's like they stop. It's like somehow those quarters are like a black hole and they disappear. And then they let Arizona State come all the way back and had to escape in overtime. I just don't trust them. And Ohio State, since the loss to Michigan, oh my God. I have almost never seen a better college football team than the Ohio State Buckeyes have looked. They've just destroyed everybody since then. So I cannot trust Texas in this spot. I'm all over Ohio State.
All right, sir. Tom Macrina.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. The one thing we do know about this game is that Texas is going to be inconsistent. If they're not going to be able to run the ball, they're going to have problems scoring. As Loud said, this Ohio State team has looked great in this playoffs, and I think they're going to roll this Texas team.
Wes, I'm picking up a theme here. Are you sticking with the theme?
So I like the over here. So if you remember, I mean, all these games were going over, right? I mean, when Ohio State played Oregon, 41-21. They played Tennessee, 42-17. Texas plays ASU, 39-31. Texas plays Clemson, 38-24. So I'm kind of riding that trend. I just think that both these teams, they're playing in high-scoring games. I don't see it being any different here. I know Texas, they're going to be making a lot of plays and explosives. And Ohio State, they're going to have to do that too to keep up with Texas. And I'm going to go over here. I think there's going to be a lot of points.
Double D?
All right, after this one, I'm going to slide out just so nobody's shocked on the other end.
All
But, looking at this one, man, being an Ohio native, and it's tough because I'm looking at going contrarian with some of these dogs hasn't been one of the best. I'm a little skeptical, going into the playoffs with Ohio State. I was on Tennessee. I'll admit it in that first game that didn't go so well, but I did back the Buckeyes against Oregon. I learned my lesson, and I'm on Ohio State with this one too. Part of me wants to. You see the 6 points, and you think about what these teams have done for the entire season, and Texas is really tempting. But even against Clemson, and they gave up too many points, even though they won that game. Against Arizona State, Texas should have buried them, and they let them hang around. They were fortunate to escape in overtime, but this Texas team, Ohio State should know them well, right? I just have to go with the Buckeyes in this game. The 6.5 points. I don't think it's the way Ohio State scores that can maybe close for a while, but I've got to lay it with the Buckeyes.
Texas is definitely the value side.
What's that, Tom?
Texas is definitely the value side.
Yeah, throw that graphic up, boys. Oh, I'm lone wolfing it here. I like that Texas defense. I think that defense is for real. Yeah, they let Arizona State back in the game, but I think they're going to be able to fix those lapses. This is a team that led the nation in defense for much of the season. Two pretty good teams. Clemson put up 24. Arizona State put up 31 in overtime. I think they're going to have a little something for Ohio State. I think these teams are pretty evenly matched. When that happens, give me the points. I'll take 5.5. That's too many. Sorry. Okay, there you go. Hey, it's me again. It's going to be the first game of the NFL playoffs, and as previously stated, it's going to be, of course, Houston involved. The Chargers coming to Houston to take on the Texans. And I've got this one currently as the Chargers -2.5 on the road. I'm riding the Chargers here, boys. I'm not going to lie. Here's an interesting stat that I ran across. During the first half of the season, Houston was forced to go 3 and out only 27% of the time, about 1 out of 4 times. In the second half of the season, they have gone 3 and out 37% of the time. That's about 15th, 16th in the league. And that's a huge difference. When you're getting one less possession per game, that is the kind of stuff that matters, especially in big games like this. And of course, the Chargers finished the season with the top scoring defense in the NFL, giving up just 17.7 points per game. And Houston, as they've been challenged here to end the season, they have not responded well. They've averaged just 16 points per game over their last 4. They don't have Tank Dell. I think that hurts a lot. LA can be had if you're a team that can run the football. Unfortunately, that ain't the Texans. They were decent for a while, and they haven't been lately. Mixon has averaged just 32.5 yards per game over his last 4, 3.2 yards per carry. On the season, he's averaging just 4.1 yards per carry. I'm not saying he's done. I'm just saying he is not elite, and they are not going to be in a position to exploit the one weakness that the Chargers have on defense. LA's been undervalued all season long. They went 12-4-1 against the spread, and that trend continues here on Saturday. Loud, tell me why you agree.
I agree because it's you, Scott. And,
beautiful.
I have deep respect for your opinions. I also am on the under here. Like you mentioned, Chargers #1 scoring defense, only allowing 17 points per game. The Texans on a good day score 21 points. That means when they play somebody like the Carolina Panthers, they score 21. Against this Chargers defense, I don't see them getting north of 14 to 17 points. And the Chargers aren't going to try to outscore anybody. So I'm with you on the Chargers being a very, very live chance of knocking them off here and covering the 2.5. And I'm also on the under.
Very good. Yeah. And just to that point, I do think there's going to be long sustained drives because the one thing this Houston defense does well is they don't give up explosive plays. They're 4th in the league in explosive plays given up. So whatever the Chargers get, they're definitely going to have to earn.
If there was an over-under on the actual broadcast time of the game and it was under 2 hours and 45 minutes or over, I would be under.
Not a chance. No playoff game's going to go 2:45. That's
in real game time.
Well, maybe. I was going to say that's slotted for 3 hours and 30 minutes, my friend. Get used to it.
Yeah.
Tommy, what do you say?
Yeah, I'm on the other side. I think Houston's undervalued here. We kind of saw this last year. Houston just getting into the playoffs. They had to play the Browns. They were dogs at home. They came, they won it. Excuse me. They won that game. I don't think the Chargers are going to be able to throw the ball. They're going to have to rely on the run. I think Houston's defense is just as good as the Chargers' defense. I think both teams are going to have trouble scoring. I don't want to fade Harbaugh, but I think this is too many points. I think it's a close game.
Okay.
I like the Texans.
That's a bold statement that the Houston Texans defense is as good. I don't hate this Texans defense, but man, they are banged up a lot.
At least they're secondary.
What's that?
At least they're secondary.
Yeah, Okuda's questionable in the secondary. Fadakazi is questionable at the tackle position there on the defensive line. Danico Autry is a good rotation guy at the end position. He's also questionable. Okay, fair enough. Wes, what do you say? Got to have you wade into this.
It's a really tough game. I think this is probably the toughest game to handicap of the entire weekend because I've kind of gone back and forth. But obviously the Chargers are the better team. But, I mean, CJ Stroud, I get, sophomore slump. I get it. No Tank Dell, no Stephon Diggs. So a lot of injuries there. They're banged up on offense and defense. But this Chargers defense, they've struggled the second half of the year. If you remember, they just gave up 20 to the Raiders, and the Raiders are terrible. Gave up 27 to the Broncos, 40 to the Bucks. So I think Stroud and company, I think they're going to be able to move the ball, and I would kind of maybe have to lean with Tom. In fact, I can even see this being like a 1 or 2 point game, like maybe a safety in there somewhere, or just like someone, kicks a field goal to win by 1 or 2 at the end of the game. But I'd probably have to lean Texans with Tom.
Okay. 2 very good kickers, by the way. Dicker for the Chargers and help me, Fairbairn for the Texans. So 2 guys that are good and are good from distance as well. So you're absolutely right. It could come down to a field goal in this one. Wes, we're going to stick with you as we take a look at the Steelers and Ravens. It's going to be the biggest spread of the weekend's. Ravens at home, 9.5 point favorites, 43.5. There's your AFC North total. Wes, how you see this one?
So these teams actually split the regular season meeting. So obviously it's a little surprising to see the line at double digits, but it's pretty simple why. It's because the Steelers are terrible as of late, right? They're 0-4 their last 4 games. Russell Wilson has not looked good at all. Obviously Pickens has not been, playing well either. But Baltimore, they should have won both those games. They actually dominated both those games as it relates to the box score. For example, Baltimore, they outgained Pittsburgh by 2 yards per play in the first game that they lost. They ran 20 fewer plays than the Steelers. Pittsburgh, they went 0-4 in the red zone. But Boswell, he hit all those field goals, and he went 6 for 6 in field goals for the entire game. While Old Faithful, speaking of kickers, Justin Tucker, that's the game he missed 2 field goals. And he's kind of been struggling all year. But I got to roll with the Ravens here. They should have won both games. The Steelers look terrible. They just don't have any answers right now. I've even heard they might even put Justin Fields in for a few packages just because Russell's struggling so much and they want some, the Steelers have been having trouble running the ball all year, to be honest with you. And Baltimore, Zay Flowers, I hear he's questionable, but I don't really care even if he plays or not. I still think Baltimore dominates this game. Interesting stat about Zay Flowers. He's the first ever Baltimore Ravens drafted wide receiver to ever make a Pro Bowl, which I found pretty interesting.
Right.
But yeah, I got to lay it with Baltimore here. They're just the better team. In fact, my power ratings have them by far and away the number one team in the NFL. So I got to lay it with the Ravens here.
Laying the big number. Loud, you laying that 9.5?
Yes, sir. They beat them 34-17 a couple weeks ago. There are no major differences in those teams since then. And like Wes said, you got the Ravens that are hot going into the playoffs, and you have the Steelers that look absolutely terrible.
Okay. That's a short and sweet. Tommy, what do you got?
Yep, I'm the same way. I think this is going to be a blowout. I don't know. Baltimore's at home. The weather's going to be good for Baltimore. Yeah, I think they just crush them. We've seen Pittsburgh fall. They could have won the game last week to be in that position, and now they have to play the Ravens.
Yeah, the Pittsburgh Steelers have really played like 4 huge games in a row, and they have not responded really in any of them. I'll tell you what scares me about this Baltimore team is all of a sudden that defense is good. You could count on them. They were a dead red over team for almost 2/3 of the season, but man, that defense has come on in the second half. They've given up just 14.3 points per game over their last 7, and this is a Baltimore team that is 3rd in the NFL in scoring. I just don't think Pittsburgh has enough answers for them. I'm going to. I'd love to be a lone wolf, but I'm not backing the Steelers in this spot. 9.5 is a big number. I think Baltimore covers it. They might even get there in the first half.
Hey, it's a clean sweep. All
There
4
you
of
go.
them.
It's our first. We need a broom. Where's the broom? Let's bring out the broom.
That means the game is definitely going the other way.
Yeah, we definitely need to track our consensus picks for sure.
Yeah.
All right, Tommy, this is going to be you. This is going to be the Broncos.
Steelers in an upset.
The Broncos at the Bills. Another big spread. Bills 8.5. 47.5 is your total. Thomas, what do you say?
Yep, Broncos they've been surprising. They've done well. Bo Nix has looked good, but this is his first playoff game as a rookie. This team doesn't have much playoff experience. I know Sean Payton does. They're facing the Bills, who are seasoned veterans in these playoffs. They went far. You're facing Josh Allen, who's probably going to be the MVP. This guy does everything. The team's balanced. I like the Bills here. Another one, just a lot of points, but I kind of feel like this is going to be when they played in Baltimore, they were 9-point dogs, Denver. I think we're going to see something like that. I think the final score was like 41-10 or something. I think we're going to get a blowout here.
Okay. Wes, you agree? Blowout city coming?
So I'm on the over here. I just think there's going to be a lot of points. If you remember, the Bills, they led the league in EPA per play before, Josh Allen sat last week. But the Bills, they have not looked all that great defensively as of late either. And I think I kind of lean on the Broncos a little bit, as in they are an active dog. I don't know if they're going to cover the game, but I do think they give the Bills, a run maybe early, maybe in the first half. And the Bills have to, either keep up or catch up. And I like the over. I think it's just going to be a high scoring game.
Let me ask you guys a quick question before we get to Loud on this one. Chiefs lose 38-0 to Denver. The Bills lose to the Jets. That mean anything this week, guys? Loud, what do you think? Does it mean anything?
No.
No?
Nope.
Tommy?
I don't think so. I don't put much into it.
All right. I think that's a consensus for me as well. I don't think it means anything. And a lot of chirping out there. You got the over in this one?
I'm over.
Okay. I think that's a solid play. I like Denver in the points. I think 8.5 is a little bit too strong. This is a good Denver team. Bo Nix is just one of those guys. You just see him getting better every week. You see him making his reads. He's starting to go through his progressions more smoothly. He's really developed a good rapport with Cortland Sutton. Then the defense, they lead the NFL in sacks. It's one of those defenses. Name 3 guys on the Denver defense. Anybody? Can anybody do it?
Surtain. Surtain's going to be Defensive Player of the Year.
Okay, there's one. Anybody else?
No clue.
Exactly right. This is a hell of a defense, and nobody knows who they are. I think they're going to be ready. Maybe if you wanted to play Denver first half, I could see that. It kind of harkens back to that Buffalo-Arizona game, first game of the season, where the I'm not going to lie, Cardinals had us down in the first half, but the Bills came roaring back. So if you're maybe leaning toward Denver, yeah, maybe take that Denver plus, I don't know, whatever it is, 5, I would guess, somewhere in that neighborhood. But I just think it's too many points. I like the Broncos there. All right. We did. Loud. You got another one. Green Bay, Philly. Tom watches with rabid interest in this one. Thomas, Lou, what do you got?
Well,
tell me loud.
I'm having a really hard time trusting Green Bay in this spot for multiple reasons. The health of Jordan Love, the quarterback, he's going to be banged up even if he plays, and he's been repeatedly injured during the year. And it's, Jalen Hurts had a concussion. You can get over that, and it doesn't affect you physically everywhere else. But if Jordan Love is compromised physically, his legs, his back, his whatever it is, it's hard to play through, especially at the end of the season in cold weather game. And there's something wrong with Matt LaFleur. I don't know what it is, but he's like the opposite of Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell, you go, he's going for it. It's 4th and 2. He's going for it. Yep, he's going for a fake field goal. Yep, look out for the fake punt. That you just know what he's going to do. He is going to lay it all on the line out there, and he's consistent. LaFleur recently, and a lot of this season, he doesn't seem to know what his own team's personality is. He's all over the place in terms of his play calling, in terms of his clock management, in terms of when he goes for it on 4th down, when he chooses to kick field goals. The whole team just seems off. Meanwhile, Philadelphia, towards the end of the season, I know in the beginning of the season, in the middle of the season, Sirianni was yelling at the crowd, and it was a mess, and him and the quarterback weren't getting along. But the past few weeks, they've looked great. Saquon Barkley in any other year, if Josh Allen and Lamar weren't having the years they're having, he's looking at, potentially being the MVP. The team can play defense. They've got weapons on the outside. They've got a great offensive line. They're too much for Green Bay in this spot. I think it's over by halftime.
Yeah, Eagles laying 4.5, by the way. I don't think I said that. 45.5 is the number. Tom, this is your hometown team, brother. And we'll talk about my hometown team next week. But we're going to talk about your hometown team. What do you got here?
Oh, is that a quiet brag, a way of you saying, Scott, my team got the bye?
Well, take it however you want it, buddy.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
The Arrowhead Open is on once again. The Arrowhead Invitational is going to be going on again, guys.
So I'll tell you what concerning Week 18 loss was. That was Green Bay last week, divvying for position against the Chicago Bears, game they really had to win. Now they're coming to Philadelphia. I think the defense is average at best. If Philadelphia can't throw the ball, it's going to be heavy Saquon, and they are going to, I think they're going to have success running the ball as well. As Loud said, we don't know how Jordan Love's going to be. Elbow, hand. Can he even grip the ball? I guess he can. They said he's playing, but we don't know how healthy he is. I think this defense is going to get to him. Green Bay is going to have trouble running the ball. Obviously, I like the Eagles. Fly, Eagles, fly.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up. We all agreed that those blowout losses or close losses, as the case may have been, with the teams that were resting everybody last week, don't really matter. That was a game that mattered, as they absolutely had to have that one at home against the Bears. Not only did they let the Bears go down there and score a last-second field goal to win the game, but they lost Christian Watson, which is huge. That is a huge part of that passing offense for the Packers. So, anybody that wants to roast the Bills or the Eagles or the Chiefs for not, resting everybody and not playing, there's Exhibit A for you. Wes, what do you have here?
Yeah, for that reason, you mentioned Christian Watson being out, and obviously, Hurts questionable, and Love with the elbow issue. I did hear that the elbow issue was just a funny bone. I don't know how much truth there is to that. But, Jordan Love, if you remember these two teams, they opened the season against each other, right, in Brazil, right, if I remember.
Yep.
And remember, Love, I think they thought he tore his ACL. Like, he had a terrible injury on that last Hail Mary in that game. Luckily, he was able to come back 3 or 4 weeks later, I believe. But I like the under here, okay? I just think there's going to be a lot of running. Saquon's going to run the ball. I think that Eagles are going to run the ball all game. And just because of the quarterback issues and no Christian Watson, I just think it's going to be an under type of game. And, the under is 6. The under is hit in 6 of Philly's last 8 games at home. So it seems whenever they play there at the link, as they call it, right, Tom? They call it the link in Philly. Yep. It tends to go under. So give me the under here. I think it's going to be a defensively minded game.
I'm more familiar with the link in Las Vegas. That's more my speed, just saying. By the way, shout out to Eric Barrera, who is watching the show live and posted up Jalen Hurts, multiple exclamation points. So
very
thank
nice,
you, Eric, for that comment.
When this site blows up and we're like the biggest thing since sliced bread in about 3 years, we're going to have a very special spot for Eric because he was our very first commenter. He was the
first comment
Absolutely.
on the show.
Absolutely.
We got to remember that. Like when we do our Vegas get together in year 5, he'll be our special guest.
Very good. Yeah. I think the under's a solid play here. I think this is going to be the Eagles doing most of the heavy lifting. I like that defense. I don't like where this Green Bay offense is at right now. I think they showed us who they were against the Bears last week, and that was not a pretty picture. So I'm with you on the under. So we did the Washington game. Wes, we're going to bring it on home with the Vikings and Rams, 2 teams that maybe not a lot of people expected to see in the playoffs. What do you got here, my friend?
Yeah, 100%. This is right in my backyard, too. And hopefully we'll see what's going on with the Fires, too, and whether they're all out by then and whether that's going to affect this game or not. But so Sam Darnold, obviously terrible game last week. I think he's going to bounce back. The Rams defense is not that good. They give up 353 yards per game. The Vikings offense is very explosive, and I think they're going to, do a lot better this week than they did last week. If you remember, the Rams did beat the Vikings here in October. They beat them 30-20. I think that might have been a Sunday or Monday night game. So Minnesota does have film now, and they should probably correct some mistakes. If you remember also, so Puka Nacua, he was inactive before that game, and 4 hours before the game, the Rams activated him and said he was playing. So Minnesota, they were actually scrambling in the locker room. I read an article about this earlier today. And Brian Flores, he was even quoted as saying, and I quote, "That's a very different team with Puka out there. He brings an element both in the run and the pass game. We know he's going to be out there now, and I'll do a much better job this time making sure our guys are prepared," end quote. So, obviously they're going to be prepared for Puka this time. There might even be some animosity about that, because I don't know what the rule is about how soon before a game you can activate a player. But the public is actually on the Rams here, maybe justifiably so because they're at home. And I think there's even some sharp action on the Rams too, to be honest with you. But I'm rolling with the Vikings here. I think they're going to play a lot better than they did last week. There's a reason that this team won 14 games. And maybe, in any other year that the Lions weren't winning 15 games, they probably win the NFC. So they are the better team. I think they play a lot better. I think Brian Flores dials up a really good defensive game plan, and I'm taking the Vikings here on the money line, which you could probably catch. I think they're -1, so you could probably catch it maybe -115-ish. Something like
Scott,
that.
I want you to go to me next.
Yeah, I've got the money line, even money, Wes, plus 100, and this is something that I preach all the time. If you're going to take the dog and it's 3 points or less, bet the money line. Bet the money line. Don't take 1.5 points. Don't do it. It is a mathematically bad play. Sometime when we have more time, I'll draw it all out and show you why. But it is not a plus EV play. All right, and 47.5, by the way, is the total in this game. And Wes, just real quick before we go to loud, I remember that game specifically because I put in Tutu Atwell because Puka Nacua wasn't going to be playing on my fantasy team. He had 1 catch. Thank you very much, Rams. I couldn't hate you more. All right, Loud, lay it out, buddy.
So one of my favorite sports movies of all time is Cinderella Man. And it's a great novel by the same woman who wrote Seabiscuit, which is another one of the greatest sports movies of all time. And I'll never forget, one of my favorite lines in that movie is Max Baer is meeting with Jim, I forget his last name, Cinderella Man, the boxer. And he's at a
Sullivan
club and they're out for dinner. And he pulls him aside and he says, "Hey, man, this is no joke. People die in fairy tales all the time." And this is how I feel about Sam Darnold, is that he's been this happy story all year long. And last week, he played by far the worst game that we've seen him play all season. He looked like the Sam Darnold from the Jets who was seeing ghosts. And can you imagine the pressure that is on him coming into this game? Because if he doesn't play well in this game, if he blanks the bed, if you know what I'm saying, his chances of getting that 5-year, $35 million, $50 million a year extensions with the Vikings or with somebody else, that's gone. I mean, it's over. So I can't imagine a person that's coming into a game with more pressure on him than Sam Darnold in this game. And I just think it's going to be too much.
All right. You got the Rams then? You like the Rams?
Yep, sure do.
Plus 100. All right. Very good. By the way, Max Baer, very famous boxer, but my generation is more familiar with his son. Anybody know who his son is?
Nope.
Played Jethro on Beverly Hillbillies. Thank you very much.
Oh, fantastic.
How about that?
And Max Baer went on to be a movie star after his boxing career.
That's right. That's right. Very good. Thomas, what do you have here?
Yeah, so the last time these teams played, it was a Thursday night game early in the season. So it was a bad spot for the Vikings. I'm with Wes. I like the Vikings here. I don't mind that they're going into L.A. I just think they're the better team, probably better coached. I do like Sean McVay. But I think they have more talent. I think Sam Darnold is fine. I think that the defense is going to get the Rams. They're going to have trouble scoring. I like the under here too.
Okay.
You
Very
know,
good.
another interesting note. Kevin Connolly was the offensive coordinator for McVay when they won the Super Bowl. too.
Yeah, so he knows them.
But was never on the Beverly Hillbillies. So.
No,
That's true.
that was true.
You know, to me, this is the toughest game on the board because both of these teams are like boxes of chocolate. The Vikings, they've looked really good most of the season. Obviously, you don't win 14 games without looking pretty damn good. And
Well, except last week, Scott, they weren't a box of chocolates. They were a Baby Ruth in a swimming pool.
yeah, they were not good. And I was on them last week. I had them, and they did not do well at all. Yeah, this is a team that lost 3 games, 2 of them to the Lions, the other one too. Drum roll, please. That's right, the same Los Angeles Rams. So, yeah, I think this is. I'm gonna lean Rams here. I have faded this team more than I can tell you this season, and they have jumped up and bit me. I'm not doing it again. If the Vikings show up, if that good Vikings team shows up, that was rolling over the league there, that's doubling up Atlanta and was
God bless them.
Yeah, God bless them. But you got to remember there was some little chinks along the way. They went to overtime against Chicago, 1-score games against Indy, 12-7 win against Jacksonville. So this is a team that has shown an ability to stink up the joint at times and maybe still pull out the win. I don't think you can do that in the playoffs. Give me the Rams. All right. Anybody got anything else to say before we get out of here?
That's it.
Very good, guys. We're gonna have a lot of fun. This has been a blast. We're gonna do this every single week. We're gonna take a look at least through the Super Bowl, where we take a look at the NFL, and we're gonna try to do at least one live show a week. We also do some weekend live shows. And Loud, why don't you tell us about that and tell everybody how to find us on the weekends?
Yeah, so on the weekends, 4:15 Pacific time, 7:15 Eastern Standard, we do a live 15 to 20-minute show called Betting in the Break. And basically, the name of the game for the show is exactly what it is. There's usually a lull between games, from the afternoon games to the evening games. And hey, if you're a degenerate sports bettor like us, you're doing one of two things. You're reloading because you lost earlier in the day, which hopefully we don't do that very much. Or unlike what you said you were going to do, you're not taking your money off the table. You're looking at what games can I bet on tonight. So we're going to help you navigate the night games and the early games the next day to help you grow your bankroll. Betting in the Break, Saturdays and Sundays, 4:15 live on the YouTube channel for hitthepick.com.
4:15 Pacific time. Nobody, that's 7:15 Eastern time. That's a lot of fun. And when football's over, we're just obviously going to transition right into college basketball, the conference tournaments, the conference season
Hockey
coming up, and then we'll talk some hockey. I think I'm the only guy that's not a hockey guy, so I will guide the conversation accordingly. But we're gonna have a blast, and make sure you check us out. So I don't even know what day we're going to do this. Either Wednesday or Thursday, we're going to do our live afternoon, evening show, and then betting in the break, like you said, 4:15 Pacific, 7:15 Eastern on Saturday and Sunday. All right. So for myself, for Loud, for Tom, for Sniper West, and for the recently departed David Delano, I want to thank everybody for stopping by. I want to thank everybody for checking us out. Don't forget to check out our YouTube channel. Don't forget to check out the website. Grab your free $100. Grab your free money. Absolutely. It is exactly what it says. No obligation, no bullshit. We wanted to do it just to get people in the door to see what we do and give them an opportunity to experience the difference at Hit the Pick. So you guys, good luck this weekend on all of your plays. Maybe ramp up that bankroll here on Wednesday and Thursday night, and then you'll be poised to hammer them over the weekend. You guys have a great day. Make some money, beat the books, and we'll be back next week to do it all again. Take care. We'll see you then.